Hi Rick, when did you first come to China and how long have you been here?
Let's see. I lived in Shanghai in 1996 and 1997. Then I came to Beijing and I've been here ever since. So that's how many years? Many years. Actually, I go back to the US about once every 10 years because my idea is this. I want to invite people to come and visit me, relatives and friends. I want them to come see the real China. And I stay here because I'm comfortable and I feel very welcomed here. And most importantly, I've got more things to achieve creatively.
Do you feel safer here than in parts of the USA?
You know, that's a really good question. Many people ask, do I feel safe in China? Well, here's the way I look at it. There are many cities in the US that I would not walk alone at night. But in Beijing, I can walk anywhere at any time of the night and I feel very safe and secure.
What is the biggest change you think that took place in China over the past decade?
I would say the biggest change over the past decade in China is that it has absolutely become more open. And that's why I stay here. And in the words of Chinese President Xi Jinping, China's door will never be closed. It will only open still wider. For instance, more free trade zones have been established. And platforms like China International Import Expo, which I was really happy to attend, and it was in Shanghai, but amazing because products were displayed from around the world. Like I had some red tea from Sri Lanka, and I saw a coffee making machine, which was kind of like a robot, and it was making coffee and it came from East Timor. So incredible products from around the world.
I know you love coffee, so I've got one for you actually.
Wow, fantastic, thank you.
Enjoy.
Cafe, really good. You know, I remember in the year 1999 when Starbucks opened its first store in the China World Trade Center. And I was there because some friends of mine actually opened it up. And it was successful from the first day. And after that, Beijing and China have many, many more coffee places. And you know, for me personally, I don't really drink alcohol and I don't go to bars. But I think coffee shops are the best. Well, for me, the more coffee shops, the better, because I really do love coffee. And I think that Chinese fit into the coffee culture perfectly, because nothing's better than to share coffee, share stories, and share smiles. I just want to say that I've seen so many historic moments in China since I've been here, but the most impressive would be the amazing past 10 years. Well, I can see that China will only aim higher. Openness and cooperation are valuable in globalization and achieving sustainable development. And I think this will help the entire planet.
What other changes have you observed in China, especially in the past 10 years?
Well, I've noticed that the Chinese have become way more confident. You know, because they know more about the outside world and they're very confident about the Chinese culture. Here's an example. I was taken to a Peking Opera performance once, and before the performance, I was taken backstage. And I met a guy, and he was putting on his makeup. And he said it takes about an hour to put on his makeup for the performance. Well, I had a chance to ask him some questions. He told me his name was Brian, and he's 31 years old. And during the day, he's a translator and a businessman. But he's had a passion for Peking Opera for 15 years. And he told me that younger people are very interested in Peking Opera, in watching and performing. See, I thought it was just for older people.
Talking about the Peking Opera, I have prepared something for you.
Well, surprise me. You know, I do recognize that as Peking Opera, and for me, it is beautiful. What I've gradually learned is that Peking Opera contains stories and traditional Chinese values. And the performers can learn loyalty, honor, and Chinese philosophy through their singing and their acting. And this gives them cultural confidence.
What do you like to do in your spare time?
Actually, I like to do a few things. I love to outdoor inline skate, and I can do it for hours. And over the past 10 years, it has become better because the air has become cleaner. Also, I love to walk in the parks. I'm a person who loves greenery, and it's obvious that China is becoming more green. I love the connection between humans and nature. I love the idea that lucid waters and lush mountains are invaluable assets, and I think this idea has been adopted and accepted throughout all of China. Well, I can tell you that I've been to many places in China, and there's one place that really stands out in my mind, and that is a place near Anji in Zhejiang province. Because I met a guy there who was working in a mine, and this was very terrible. It was dusty and polluted. Well, they closed the mine because it was destroying the environment. So he went from being a mine worker to creating a B&B from his home. And when he did that, his neighbors saw what he did and he helped them also establish B&B. The cool thing about the area is that it's right next to the bamboo forest. And this is where many films have been made, including Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So he created his B&B and he's much happier. Not only that, the village is happier.
Looking to the future, what do you want to say?
Well, I can see that the Chinese are more confident about their life and its possibilities. And the new generation is happier with their life and becoming more successful. And they're very proud to live in China. For me, I'm grateful just to be a witness to the change and the modernization of the China that I know and the world is getting to know. Welcome to China.